Hello, hello. Hello, it appears I'm live. People joining as we speak. That's wonderful. Welcome, everyone. My name is Chris, and of course, we're here with Artist Palette Durham region for Turtle Splash. Hello to Pamela in Florida. Good to see you. Let me know in the chat there where you guys are tuning in from. I'd love to hear where you're from. Also, let me know if maybe this is your very first watercolor painting. Maybe this is your very first tutorial with Artist Palette Durham region. Let me know. Maybe this is your first painting ever. I would especially like to know that, and I would love to see how that turns out. Hello to Pam. Thanks for joining me today. So it is time to start. I'm just going to maybe stall a little bit. Maybe we could get a few more viewers in the next few seconds here. But I do have all the supplies that you need in the shot here on your screen there. So if you see something that you forgot to gather, go grab it. But I will go over all the different things that I have here in a minute or so. Oh, it's a beautiful day here I'm in London, Ontario. So I'm not too far from the Durham region itself. Laughing Lightning, I love the name. Chicago. First watercolor. I hope you fall in love with the medium as I have. Watercolor is loose and fun and colorful. That's what I love about it. Yeah, so let's see if we can't get a few more people yet. Lots of people tuning in from all over. My name is Chris. That's short for Kristen. And we're going to do this turtle splash. Now, you don't have to do a turtle. I'm going to demonstrate a turtle, but what if you want to do a cat? What if you want to do a dog, a fox, a bird, a bear? You could do anything you want. Just give it kind of a geometric style. So do it kind of chunky shapes, angles, no real curves. It's all lines, lines, lines. You could do any animal. I guess you could even do non-animal things. What if you want to do a sweet little plant pot and then kind of a jagged house plant coming out of that in this style? Would look amazing. What if you want to do a geometric teapot with a cute little lid, a cute little handle in this style? Would look amazing. Yeah, it doesn't have to be an animal. It could be an object in this style. Hello to Deb. Welcome. Okay, so I will go over the supplies that you see, and then as people join, they can even put the playback back to the beginning. It's amazing what you could do on YouTube Live. If you missed something, that I said something and it was a little quiet or a little too fast for you, you could set the playback back a couple seconds and hear it again. If you get called away by something, you could hit pause. Just hit pause. If I'm getting ahead of you, you can hit pause, catch up, and then press play again. It's amazing. Even though I'm live, you can do all those things. Ashlyn's tuning in from Washington. Hello. All right, let's do supplies. So let's start with what's closest to my body here. I've got a couple of black pen marker options here. This is a very faint permanent marker. Yeah, very fine point. So that'll get me some nice thin lines. This is just your regular Sharpie. Kind of has a pointy tip because I haven't used this one too much. So whatever you have at home, if it's a black ballpoint pen, if it's drawing pens like micron pens, you could use those. I have some of these nearby too if I want to use them. Yeah, any thicknesses. I've got like a thinner and a thicker, two types of lines within one picture. You could just use thick lines only. You could just use thin lines only, whatever you feel like doing, whatever you have on hand. So I've got these two. as my black pen / marker options. I've just got one paintbrush today. We're doing some kind of blobby shapes, no real fine lines or details, so we don't need like a super teeny tiny pointy brush. I just grabbed this one. I'm just doing blobs and a little splattering. Any old brush you have. It could be a round brush, a flat brush, filbert, whatever you have handy. And you could definitely use multiple sizes. Just because I'm going to use one doesn't mean you have to only use one. Use a variety if you want. So that's the brush I'm going to use. I've got a pencil and an eraser. Any kind of pencil, any kind of eraser. Mine's a mechanical pencil and a squishy kneadable eraser, but your more traditional pencil would be fine. A white vinyl eraser or a pink eraser, anything at all, pencil-wise. If you have a variety of to choose from, pick an H versus a B. B pencils are very soft and dark and thick. You want something a little more lighter, a little more finer, like a mechanical pencil, or an H. So 2H, 4H would be great. Squash that on there. I'm going to use a ruler. We're going to use lots of straight lines to do curves, but with multiple straight lines. So the turtle heads are round, but I've done it with a series of straight lines. So let's say you don't have any rulers handy, but you have something with a hard straight edge that you could use to make straight lines. Use that, but I will be doing a bit of measuring with the ruler. So as an example, I will have a middle line and I'll mark a point here and here that's equidistant from the middle, but you can eyeball that if you don't have like a ruled ruler, anything with a straight edge. That's the ruler. Let's put that there. I've got tape. Now, tape is an optional supply. I will be taping the edge of my paper to make this lovely white border. But if you don't have any tape, masking tape or painter's tape, you don't have to do that. You can have your painting go right to the edge of the paper that you're using. You can have your painting kind of end organically and just kind of loose, organic edge, like random. That's fine. It doesn't have to be a perfectly straight edge. So that's an optional supply. I've got my cup of water for mixing the watercolor paint, of course. A little piece of paper towel, or you could use, say, a red sponge would be okay, napkin. I've got my little travel set of paints. Mine was from Amazon, Mei Liang. And it's just a nice little bright set, student grade, not professional. Not professional. I just like playing with paints. I'm not worried about the professional stuff. So that's what I'm going to use. If you have something like what I have an area that you're going to do some extra mixing. So if you can't mix in your lid, like I'm going to, have like a palette or a plate or maybe a Tupperware lid to do some extra mixing. If you have tubes of watercolor paint, you're going to squeeze out little bits of the colors you want to use onto a palette or a plate. Sometimes I use a deviled egg serving tray, a big deviled egg serving tray. That works wonderfully. Yeah, plastic or ceramic is fine. So that's what I'm going to use to do my extra mixing in the lid. And then I've got paper. So this is the paper I'm going to use today. Canson XL watercolor paper. You can get this at Walmart. You can get this on Amazon. You can get this at most artsy, craftsy places. It's, I would say, a medium price for a medium quality of paper. You can definitely find more expensive, fancier brands. You can definitely find cheaper, but I like to use this one. Had a little rip, had a little accident. I might as well rip one out right now. I like to take my page out, but some people like to keep it in the pad as they work. Some people like to tape tape this loose sheet onto like a MDF board or some kind of plastic, like a cutting board or something like that, or glass. Some people will tape that to glass. I'm going to get my tape. So this part's optional, right? The tape part. If you want a white border around your turtle, add some tape around the edge. Mine's green painter's tape. You could use regular masking tape. Some people use washi tape. Nice and straight along the edge. So I was saying a little bit earlier, you've just joined us, you can pause and rewind this live broadcast at any point. So if you are falling a little behind, you want to take a little break, bathroom break, grab a drink, just hit pause. Hit pause whenever you want. You can rewind whenever you want. And after the video is done, after the live feed's done, this video will be available forever. So if you just want to watch tonight and then tomorrow you're going to do the actual painting, you can do that. It'll be available immediately after this is done. Available forever. I was also saying you could do any animal. So I'm going to do the turtle, but think cat, dog, bunny, bird, bear, fish, whale, any animal that you want. Just make it in a kind of geometrical, angular kind of way. And that'll look great. I'm done with this. Done with that for now. Okay, so I've got my lovely tape to make a nice white border. And I've just pressed it like down lightly, not very firmly. I don't want the paper to rip. Get out your pencil and your eraser and your ruler. So you're going to draw very lightly at home. Draw as light as you can. I'm going to draw slightly darker so that you can see it on this camera. I want you to be able to see it on the camera. So I'm going to draw slightly darker. I'm going to make a line going down the very middle of my page. So that measurement will be different for everyone because we have different sized papers. I like to make a couple of indications down the page just so I have a nice straight line. Let's see. I'll do one more. Couple little tick marks to line up. So again, draw lightly at home. And I'm going to draw a little bit darker than I normally would. Okay, so right down the very middle, I've drawn a light line. Oh, Diane's using chalk. I love it. And doing it as a part of her, is it physical therapy, your PT? Makes sense. I love that idea. Good idea. So I've got the line down the middle here. I'm going to make the shell of my turtle first, and then build the head and flippers, I guess you could call them, off the shell. Your shell doesn't have to be exactly like this. Yours could be more oval, any shape shell you want to do. Mine, I think I was going for sea turtle here versus like river and lake turtles just because of how long I've made the flippers. You can make it more river or lake turtle with shorter arms. So I'm thinking whatever measurement I do on one side of this line, I have to make it the same on the other side so it's symmetrical as best you can. So for example, here's the top of my shell. Would you say that's about an inch on one side and then about 1 inch on the other side-ish. So let me show you. I could even just line up the number 1 on my middle line. So then that means I have to go 1 inch this way and 1 inch this way. So we'll draw that a little darker so you can see it. There we go. So whatever the length is on this side has to be the same on this side to keep it as symmetrical as we can. And we can adjust that if that doesn't look quite right to you. You want it wider, narrower. We have erasers. Don't be afraid to use your eraser. Stick that there. And then I'm going to have these angles coming out. Now to help me get the same angle on both sides, I can measure a point here and here that is like the same distance from the middle. So I would say maybe 2.5 inches from the middle line. So I could even line up 2.5 inches on the middle line. So I know I need to make a point here. So I can do a little dot, and then I have to go 2.5 this way. So there's half and then 1, 2. So I made a dot here and here. So if I connect these 2 dots to up here, that angle should be the same on both sides. Starting to get like a rounded shape, sort of. More like a stop sign. Welcome to Galen in the Ozarks. Ooh. And then I want, my shell comes in a little. If you want yours more squared off down the sides, you can have it go straight down. Mine comes a little in. A little bit in. So maybe that's 1.5 inches from the middle line. Where do I want to put that? 1.5 inches-ish. Maybe I'll have it come a little further. Maybe here. There's the half, there's the full inch. 2 little marks. So here's 2 little dots right here and here. And if I connect these to here, that should be the same angle. And this one and this one, they're not going to turn out perfectly the same. Yours at home will not be exactly the same as mine, and that's okay. That's okay. It doesn't mean it's wrong. Let's see. And then I just kind of bring that shell into that midline. So let's say I bring it to maybe about here, right there. Make a little dot. It's kind of shield shaped, a little bit like egg shaped. It's a little heavier on this end than this end. But whatever shape you've come up with for your turtle shell is the right shape for you. Because this is your turtle in your world. It doesn't have to be exactly like mine. So the edge of my sea turtle shell is there's a double line. So we've just done the outside line. We want a secondary line on the inside. And you can measure it if you want to measure exactly, let's say 1/4 inch or exactly 1/2 centimeter. But I just eyeball it. I just gonna line this up so it's parallel with all the lines that I've drawn before, and I just wing it. So I go like this, then I go this way. And if you need to like erase lines that are like overlapping, that's fine. You can erase and adjust lines. I'm just gonna go all the way around, making it a double line. So it gives it a thickness, like the edge of the shell has a little lip all the way. And you can skip this part if you don't want yours to have an edge like that. Just don't do it. There we go. So now I've got 2 lines forming the shell shape. If you want to pause the feed on this screen till you've got it how you want it, you can do that and then catch up with us. And then I'm going to connect the corners together. So this corner with this corner, make a little line, tiny little lines. Oh, there's already sort of a line there. All these little corner to corner. There, just like that. That's pretty simple. And then I've got this, any kind of shape you want to do in the middle. And then from that shape, we'll extend lines outward. Outward, outward. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a 6-sided shape. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Even though the outside of the shell is a 7-sided shape, I made this a 6-sided shape. And that worked out just fine. That worked out just fine. So I'll do that again. Get the old trusty ruler. So I'm going to pick a point, maybe right here is the top of my inner shape. Little dot. Make a little dot. I want 2 lines coming out from that. And I could measure that. Let's see, maybe about 1 centimeter from the middle, maybe about 1/2 inch. I'll do a dot and a dot. My first dot, here's a dot and a dot. I'll connect those. Oh, that's pretty close. And then I want the shape to come down and in. Sort of straight sides, little angle there. Where do I want that to go? Let's go all the way. Maybe 1/2 inch. Sure. I went 1/2 inch from this middle line on either side. Yours could be a little bigger. Yeah, that's not bad. And then just connect it to the middle. So maybe to this point. So there's like a 6-sided shape in the middle, a little bit different than that first one. That's okay. That's fine. And we make lines coming from each of these points, the corners. So one's going straight up. I mean, there really is already a line there, but I'll just draw it again. And there's one going down to the bottom, so I might as well draw that one again. Down like that. And then pick a spot where these ones are going to go out to. But it has to be the same spot on both sides. I'm going to go like this kind of an angle. I could even mark that. Use your ruler to mark the point right there. Yeah, so there's these 2 lines to the same point on the edge. And then these ones, I mean, you could go to this corner, but I want to keep it interesting. I want to go kind of up here a little bit. Let's go right here. Yeah, that's kind of cool. You could add extra shapes in here if you want to, extra lines. It'll make it seem more, kind of reminds you of stained glass a little bit with the thick black lines and the colored panels and panes. I think it reminds me of stained glass. So there's what my turtle shell shape turned out to look like. I'm happy with that. If anything doesn't look right on yours, you have your eraser. Don't be afraid to erase, adjust. That's kind of cute. Let's do the head and then the flippers. Sure. The head. I've got, well, like a sort of like a 6-sided shape, but it's like resting against here. So I guess it's 7-sided. We'll call it 7-sided. All right, what should I go? Yeah, I'll go out, then in. We'll start at these ones. What is that? Mine's about 1 inch, maybe a little less, maybe about 2 centimeters. That first line that comes out like that. I could go like this. Yeah, I could do that. 2.5 centimeters, about 1 inch-ish. So I'm going to mark the points that are this outer part of his face. Let's go here and here. There's 2 little dots here. I did it about 1 inch from the middle line. And I'll draw lines coming in. Half 1 inch there. Yeah. His head comes out, up, and then in. So I'll make a straight line going up from both of these. How big is that? Let's go less than 1 inch, maybe like 3/4 of an inch, 2 centimeters or so straight up. Vertical. This is the side of his head. And then we're going to come to the middle line. So up here somewhere, let's pick a spot. Not too high. I don't want him to look like he's got like a very pointy beak. He's kind of got a blunted head. So let's go like here. Pick a spot, any spot. And if it looks too long for you, too short for you, erase and adjust. Okay, so that's the outer shape. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 lines kind of crisscrossing and making their own shapes. So I took this corner and then I brought a line down to the shell here. So it's not like a little bit away from the middle, just a tiny scooch away from the middle. So I'll just mark a line, a little dot there and a little dot there. I'm just really eyeballing it because it's so close to the middle, I can just kind of judge. And that comes to this corner. Now it's looking like that. And we're going to do 2 more lines. So it's coming from this corner up to the very tip of his snout, his nose. Up. So this corner up to the tip. There. And it makes these great like triangles here, different shapes. Different shapes we can fill in with designs and colors. So that's what my head looks like. If you want to pause it on that shot of the head, you can fine-tune your drawing there. All right, that is the head and shell. Let's do some flippers. Big flipper, nice and wide for in the ocean. And then these ones start skinny, but then go big. Skinny and then big. So we'll do the top, the arms first. So we're gonna pick a spot along this edge where the flipper will start. I'm gonna pick a spot here. I'll make a little dot. And I'll make the same dot on the other side. Little dots. That's where my flipper is gonna start. It's gonna go out and then down. Let's see. How far out do I want to go? Yeah, maybe. So that measurement for me is 3.5 inches from the middle line. So if this is the middle line, this dot I'm making is 3.5 inches from the middle. Little dot. Three and a half inches. So I've got a dot and a dot here. And my line's coming out to meet that dot. So that's the top edge of my flipper. And I've got, this one's pretty much going straight down. These next lines go straight down, about 1 inch, 2.5 centimeters ish. I mean, if you want even longer fins, you could do that. Just straight down. On both sides, same measurement, 1 inch-ish, 2.5 centimeters-ish. Okay, so we're starting to get the shape of the flipper. Now we have to come in a tiny bit. Yeah. Let's see, what measurement would that be? Mine's about 3 inches from the center. And I want them to come down really far. Almost to the point of here, sort of this level of where our shell is. That's how far our front flippers are coming down, way down, sort of on this level. What did I say, 3 inches-ish from the middle? Maybe here, here. Oh. Nice big long line. And then it just goes up, straight up here to, wherever you want it to connect to the shells. So maybe about here. So there's my 2 big front flippers. Yours can be any shape. If they're not quite this shape, maybe they're more straighter, more thinner. That's fine. That's okay. I'm going to add 1, 2 lines into there to make some funky triangles. And where do I want to start them? Maybe I'll start it right at this corner. And I'll go to that kind of juncture there. And then just anywhere else. We're making triangles here. Maybe to right there. So I did a line and a line just to break that into some geometric shapes. So I'll go here from this point to there. And then where was that? Right about there. Use your ruler. Make them the same. There, that looks the same. And it's, yeah, it's getting kind of a stained glass kind of treatment. You could fill this in as if it was stained glass instead of the blotchy. You could just do, you know, this one's blue, this one's green. Fill it in like a solid color. Yeah, it doesn't have to be blotchy like mine. All right, we've got upper fins. We need some lower fins. They're a little skinnier at the start, and then they widen into a nice big flappy flipper. Okay, so mine starts just kind of above like that turn of the shell. I'm gonna go, I'll do the outer portion and then I'll do the inner portion. So let's go. Mine's about 2.5 from the middle. So if I line up my 2.5 on the line, on the middle line, maybe about there, make a mark, make another mark. Yeah, make those the same length, same angle. That's pretty good. Then I want it to flare out just a smidge, a little bit, and then drastically come in. So maybe about 3, let's go 2 3/4. I'm going 2 3/4 and I'll make a mark here. 1, 2 3/4. I'll make a mark here. This is like his knee bending joint. Do they have knees? Do turtles have knees? That's a deep, deep thought. And then these guys come in a lot, quite a bit. So let's see here. 1.5 inches from the center line, but quite a ways down. We want nice long flippers. So I'm visualizing flippers coming down to about, yeah, probably about down to here. And I want them, let's see, 1.5 from the middle, make a dot, make a dot. That's really coming in a lot. Good, good. And then I've got pretty straight, these 2 lines here. They're pretty vertical. I might keep that fairly vertical. Let's go 1.5 inches, 1 3/4. So that's these lines here. We're going to go in and then connect. In here, connect. Let's go in. You can even just make a dot. Just make a dot randomly. And then mark the same on the other side. A little less than 2. Right there. last, just connect it to his body wherever you want it to, but keeping that part a little thinner, a little bit thin right there. I just went right at that corner. Yeah, so there's my back flippers. Yours could be smaller, bigger, longer, thinner. Try to keep them symmetrical. And I will add two lines, again, just to give it more geometric shapes. So this one comes from the beginning to the knee, I don't know, the bend, and then to this corner. But if you want it to connect somewhere else, you can. Here to the outer knee. So this line, that line, this line, that line. Just breaks up that big shape into smaller shapes, which you can do for some of these. If these are like too big to you and you want to break it up with another line or even a line going like this, whatever pattern you want to do. So that's it for the turtle. And then the rest of the pencil shapes, just random. I've got some triangles. I've got some 4-sided shapes, 5-sided shapes, randomly here and there, small, bigger, blank ones. Yeah, that's a big one. Any shapes, anywhere, whatever you feel like doing. Let's just do some. You could do diamonds. You could do parallelograms. You could do equilateral triangles. You could do scalene triangles. Do some 5-sided shapes, 6-sided shapes. Small, big. Just to really play up the geometricness of this composition. Let's go 4, 4, 4. I've got like 15 shapes total as a rough guideline, but you can do as many or as few as you like, or skip them all together. Don't let me tell you what to do. That was a little weird. I might do less on this one than I did on the first one. What else? What else? Where else needs something? Do a trapezoid. Do a anything you can think of. I might need to get a lozenge or something. Do I want more? It's always the question. You'll know when you have enough. Let's see here. Maybe one more. I think that looks like a good amount for me. You can always add more later. If you don't think you have enough, you can erase some if you have too many. That looks pretty good for now. Whoops. Okay, so I am done my pencil work. If you're still working on your pencil work, just pause. Just pause this live feed, finish up your pencil work, and then we're going to move into our black pen stuff. So I have a Sharpie, it's a permanent marker, and I also have this black pen, which is also a permanent pen, which is important because we're doing the pen first and then the watercolor after. So if you have a pen that is going to run when water is applied to it, maybe do your pen work after the paint. So I did pencil, then I'm doing my black pen, then I'm doing my paint. In your case, if you don't have something that's permanent or waterproof, maybe do the paint first, then let it dry, and then do your black line work. Up to you. Okay, so we've got thick lines, thin lines, stripies. We've got dotted areas like stippling. Here's a good one to show. Stipple, little dots, lines, stripes, all kinds of stuff. There's some that just kind of end into nothing. There's some that completely fill up the shape. You can do whatever you like. You can have an entire section full of dots or just a little edge with dots. Up to you. Up to you to do whatever. I'm going to do my thicker lines first with my Sharpie. There's also like black brush pens you can get that are a little bit thicker. What else would work? I wouldn't use like a Crayola marker. That would run a lot. So if you want to use your ruler while you're doing these lines, you can. I just wing it. I just go for it and just trace. If my lines are a little bit wiggly, it's okay. It gives them more character, I think. But if you really want all your lines to be perfectly straight, get that ruler. Yeah, so that's just going on the pencil lines. Pretty straight, a little off. It's okay. Yeah, like that one went a little off. I'll just disguise that with some stripes or some dots. Feel free to turn the page so it's the most comfortable for your hand. Yeah, so I chose thicker lines around my turtle just to make it pop more, and then thinner like details inside some shapes. But if you only have a thick marker, you only have a thin marker, you can stick with just one type of line. And make your own designs too. So I'm going to do stripes and stippling, but if you want to do a zigzag pattern, instead of dots, do hollow circles like O shape. Hearts, a pattern of hearts. What else? Spirals, swirls, anything. Tiny, tiny turtles as a pattern. Turtles on turtles. tiny triangles, tiny diamonds. So here, oh, I didn't even draw a tail. How silly. Let's add a little triangle tail to you. Kind of long. Down like that. Long and thin. There we go. Little tail. There's his tail. Yeah, so I've done thick black lines here and here. For the flippers, I just did the thick black on the outside edges, same as the tail. Thick black on the outside only. And I do the rest with the thinner. But that's my choice. You can choose to do whatever. It's been almost an hour, and so far we haven't even done any painting. It's all prep for the painting. We will get to the painting soon. While we're just here tracing away, I can tell you about our Watercolor Lovers Facebook group. So it's a great little group on Facebook, put out there by Artist Palette Durham region. And it's a great place to share. If you want to share your painting tonight in that group, we'd love to see it. You can share other watercolor paintings of yours, whether that's from Artist Palette tutorials or your own original pieces. We love seeing original stuff. Where is, here it is. Watercolor Lovers by Artist Palette Durham Facebook group. Watercolor spelt with the letter U because we're in Canada. And every week, I really do need a lozenge. Every week on Wednesday, we do Watercolor Wednesday. And it's like a short, free tutorial every Wednesday just to help you hone your watercolor skills. So who was saying that's their first watercolor? Laughing Lightning, an amazing name. Lots of tutorials in our Watercolor Lovers group to help you develop your watercolor skills. Yeah, so just go into the Facebook. I guess I could get the link. Let me find the link. So you don't have to search around. I got it. Let me see if I can stick it. Ooh. Paste. I think that worked. I put it in the chat. If you do want to join our little Watercolor Lovers Facebook group, please do so. Yeah, that's it for my thick lines. I'm going to do my thinner lines now. First, I'll outline all these things. Is anyone trying a different animal? I would love to see a different animal version of this. Maybe try the turtle tonight, and then in the coming days, you can try a different animal. Try a fun bird or a fun fox would be nice for fall, and you could use like oranges and reds. Okay, so I've got thick lines, thin lines. Now's where I add fun patterns, stripes, dots, whatever you want. And it doesn't have to be every shape. So like this triangle doesn't have anything in it. This part of his flipper doesn't have anything in it. You know, this part of the edge, nothing there, there's nothing here. Pick and choose any shape, any pattern that you want to do. Let's do a little dots, a little stippling. It could be the whole shape, just be around the shape. I used to love in art class when we were being taught stippling, pointillism, and the whole class is going tick, 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 tick. That little noise of a whole class. There, so that's just kind of went around the outside of the shape with some dots. That's just what I chose to do. Let's do some stripes in this one. And mine don't even connect to the other side fully. There's some stripes in that one there. It could be diagonal. Invent your own patterns. I'd love to see different stuff. Cross-hatching doesn't have to be just lines in one direction. They could be crisscrossing lines. Let's see, I did stripes. Am I going to make this the exact same as the other one? No. Let's do something different. How are you making such straight lines without a ruler? It's practice. Practice, practice. I'll do a stipple. It could be just one corner of the shape has some pattern. It doesn't have to be the whole shape. Thank you so much for all the likes, guys. Yeah, don't forget to subscribe to Artist Palette Durham region, and then you get all the notifications when we're going live. All of our free events are on YouTube Live here. Can't hurt to just subscribe for all of them. And then you can choose which ones you want to join us for. Where do I want to do more stripies? Maybe like this way. And And then closer to the end of this event, I'll show you some upcoming paintings, events coming up with me. If you like my art style, if you like my teaching style, I'd love for you to join me in a future event. So I'll show you what's coming up for September. Lots of fall things, pumpkins and things. Lots of orange. Orange features prominently in my next 3 events. Go figure. There's some of that. Let's see. Kristen, why are we doing our black lines before our paint? You might ask. That's just my style. Like I like to do a line and wash kind of thing. You could definitely do your painting before the black line work, especially if you're going to use paint like gouache. Gouache is sort of like watercolor, but it's more opaque. So it might cover up some of your black lines. Even if some of my colors today cover up a little bit of my black lines, I won't be too upset. But most of my paint is very see-through, transparent. So my black lines should be okay. But we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I usually like to do the old line and wash. This is the kind of doodling you could do while watching a show, binging a show. Yeah, you're starting to see like little bits of change in value. Like this seems darker because I've concentrated some dots here. Yeah, try, doing heavier dots in certain places and then spread them out to show like lightness, floaty dots. Where do I want to go next? Keep some blank. Definitely keep some of them blank. I'll go here. That little tail. There's some ideas for you, but put yours wherever you want. Don't exact copy where I've put mine. Make it your own. Make it different, purposefully. Okay, so I've got kind of my turtle, nice balance of dots, stripes, and then just nothing. I think that's a good balance. And then just do a few shapes, not every shape. Let's do this one. And which one? And I've got some rogue dots that went out the lines, got some lines that went out the lines. That's okay. Once we get some colors and some splashes, we won't see those little boo-boos, those little happy accidents. Okay, do I want any more? I think that's good. Yeah, so I've got dots, stripes, empty ones, sort of balanced. But you could fill every shape in if you really wanted to do that. You definitely could. I think that's good for me for the pen. Lovely. I'm just going to lightly erase any visible pencil marks, especially down the middle. Right down the very middle. We don't need that one anymore. And then just anywhere else where your pen didn't quite cover the pencil you made. Here we go. There. So we've been going at this like a full hour, a little more, and now we're ready for paint. We're ready for the watercolor now. Finally. Bring that in. Bring the water. It's light. It's my light. Any old paintbrush. I'm going to use this one. Yours could be thinner, thicker. That's what I'm using. Get it good and wet. Any colors. Just because I have a blue section and then a green and then a blue and then a yellow doesn't mean you have to do that. If you want yours more turtley colored, you can do that. Just a series of greens. You could have like a theme, like maybe you want this to go in a bedroom or the bathroom and you want to match those colors. Definitely, you can do that. You could do just reds and pinks and purples. You could do just blues and greens for an underwater vibe. Any colors, anywhere. I'm not even going to do the same colors as this one. I want to mix it up. I'm going to do some red first. Now I grab some red, I bring it over here, I add some more water and really mix it up so it's like a nice, like even consistency. There's not like thick chunkies. Add some more water. Yeah, so you could do like a series of dabbing marks like this. You can paint sections in completely. Do a combination. Dabs and brush strokes. And it's okay if you go outside the lines. Maybe you purposely go outside the lines a little bit. That's allowed. White gaps are okay. There, I could call that section done. And you're like, what? You missed here, you went way out the lines. Yeah, that's fine. I could even grab just water on my brush, just water, dab in some water. And things will happen as it dries. Maybe we'll get like weird shapes, like a bloom shape, like a cauliflower shape. Those are okay. I could even just dab extra water wherever I want. Maybe that little piece is done. We'll call that one done. Rinse that out. Pick another color, or do red, 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 and then switch to orange, 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 orange. Do whatever strikes your fancy. We'll get some orange. Maybe I'll do this kind of fall colors. Maybe. Dab some orange over here. And you can mix two colors together if you want like a red orange. Mix those together. Here's orange, here's red. Make a red orange. Maybe put it right here. Maybe let the red orange and the orange touch and bleed and blend into each other. And see, it's flowing into there. That's allowed. That's what's fun about this kind of splashy look. We're not fussy on bleeds and cauliflower shapes, little weird shapes that form as it dries. This weird shape. Whatever's going on here. We're also going to be doing some splatting, some actual splashing, so stay tuned for that. If you maybe don't want a mess, maybe put down a towel or tablecloth. Yeah, I might stick with this kind of fall color scheme I have going on, but you can definitely go with these colors that I did exactly if you wanted to. Here's a lovely ochre. This is yellow ochre, kind of like dry oak leaves, even though it's spelt a different way. Ochre. Blob that in there. I could do some greens. There's still some greens on the trees out there. Maybe right here. And a little green got into the ochre, a little ochre got into the green. That's all right. So I just dip in the water and I'll just like squiggle around some water and let the green flow into it. Why not? What else nice? Fall. More browns. I think let's get some more browns in here. See what this is like. Oh, that's a lovely, what brown is that? That is a sienna. Yeah, if some paint drips on, you're bringing it from the palette or from the water, that's cool. We're going to purposefully add drips later, so don't worry about accidental drips. That's a good thing. Which color is this? This is a lovely Oh, this is a darker sienna. Let's see what that looks like. Ooh, it's like coffee, like instant coffee. Have you guys ever tried painting with coffee or tea? You can do that. I've done that many times. Make some very strong coffee or tea, instant coffee usually, and paint with it, and it smells delicious. I wouldn't drink it afterwards because your brush has been in it, but it's fun. Ashlyn has a question. Yeah, you can definitely wait to do some patterns after your painting is dry. Yeah. Yeah, you can definitely do any amount of pen or marker work after the whole thing is dry. Even if you want to add some later, if some of your, so this ochre kind of went on my black a little bit and you can see it a little bit. So I might add some black back on after, but other colors are very see-through and have not covered up my black at all. Let's see what other, I've got some nice brown here, nice umber. So some of my shapes are filled in. Some shapes I didn't even color in. I just painted around. I went around this one. Interesting. Different. Try them both out. It's like I'm doing like a fall turtle with these colors I'm choosing. Let's go back to the ochre. Here I'm painting around the shape and just dabbing a bunch of water and paint around it. That's fun. I think I mostly chose to do the black pen first in this, is that it's easier to teach you, because if we'd done the paint first, we'd have to wait. We'd have to wait to do the pen till this is fully dry, and that could take a little bit of time. So this is the easier way to teach it, for sure. But if you want to try this style with a different animal in the future, you could definitely do the pencil first, then the paint, then the lines. Let's do a lovely, I'm going to add some greens in here. And we can have greens running into reds, make a brown color. What else? Green. Oh, I have lime green. I don't know if I want to use lime green. Oh, I don't have yellow. 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 You can also blob colors even where there's not a shape or not the turtle. What if I just want to put some blobby paint right here? just right here. It's kind of cute. Do I want some blue? Sure, like the blue sky of fall. Couldn't hurt. Get a little blue in here. I'm not going to do very dramatic blue, subdued blue. More orange. Yeah, sometimes I just paint the negative space. So this area here by his leg, I just painted the blank space. Let's get some more green. And I will have some colors coming right up to the edge of my tape. You can choose to have like, come here you. You can have more stuff budding right up with the tape, but definitely have some things just to help you with that white border, establishing that border. Have some things like right along the tape. Right along. But you can definitely fill in more of this white than I have. And we'll be splatting things too. Whenever I'm painting like near tape or on tape, I'm never pushing paint under the tape. So if I did want to have some red down here in the corner, I wouldn't be aiming my brush this way. I'm going to be brushing away from the tape onto the paper so I don't accidentally cram paint under the tape. But you can also press down on your tape just to make sure it's stuck down. Yeah, pressing either down on the tape or away. I've made a brown color. Let's try this brown out. Oh, it's like a mahogany color. Yeah, invent some colors. If you want to just mix any two colors together and make a new color, do it. Don't just use every color right from the tube. Make your own. Yeah, I've made like a mahogany color, I would call it. What else do I need? I've got light areas, dark areas, really watered down areas. Just keep it random. Let's go right in here. Are we having fun? This is such a fun, easygoing painting, I think. I would love, love, love to see the results of your paintings in our Facebook group, Watercolor Lovers. And you could look back on all of the Watercolor Wednesday tutorials. It's got to be a year's worth. Oh, not quite a year's worth. I would say about 40 already uploaded tutorials for free that you can try out, including me painting with coffee and tea, if that piqued your interest when I said that. Ooh, okay, getting there. I'm going to do a little bit more. I do still like to have a lot of white space. So I'm not going to fill up absolutely everything. Maybe a little more light green. And if colors faded on you as it dried and you want to re-emphasize those colors, just do a second coat. So like this blue dried pretty darn light. So if I do a little bit on top, a little extra, that's more like it. Where else? I've got a bunch of shapes that need some color. This one. I'm thinking I'm there on the amount I have filled in versus the amount I have of white space. So the only thing left to do is those splashes and splats. So I'll give you a couple more minutes to fill it in as you like it, and then we'll show you how to do some splats. Now my paper's kind of curling. There's just so much water on it. Sometimes I'll bend it back. Or just let it curl and then see what kind of valleys and hills it creates. Create some like darker puddles, lighter areas. Yeah, it's not the end of the world if your paper's a little bit ripply. I'm gonna get a glass of water, and then we'll do some splatting. I want to show you some examples of some Watercolor Wednesday tutorials. Let me find them. Okay. Oh. What did we learn yesterday? Yesterday was Wednesday, and we did these fun little pumpkins, little pumpkin trio in watercolor with a quick line drawing, line and wash again. That was yesterday's Watercolor Wednesday. The week before that we did Among Us. We had kind of an Among Us day last Wednesday where we did the watercolor for Watercolor Wednesday, and then we did a free acrylic Among Us painting. If your kids like Among Us, we have a acrylic tutorial already posted on this channel. Already posted, ready to go. It'd be like a fun, afternoon activity for the kids. Just put on the video, give them some paints, and let them go wild. What did we do before that? We've done some watercolor tattoo ideas. So I did paintbrushes, bowling pin and ball, cat. Because people are getting tattoos that are in the watercolor style. It's very popular. What else did we do on Watercolor Wednesday? Oh, this guy was cute. Like a beach, a gnome on a beach with some tan lines there. That was a few weeks back, probably about a month ago. Anyway, just fun mini tutorials in our group that you can watch for free right now. Okay, let's do a little splatting to finish this off, and then I'll show you some upcoming events with me as well. Okay, so same colors that we were using. Yeah, I'll do some red splats. So if you're using a very teeny tiny brush, maybe get a slightly bigger brush so I can hold some paint in the bristles. So I like to hold my finger out and I just lightly hit my finger with my brush. And that gets you kind of like very light, teeny tiny little splats. If you want slightly bigger splats, what color will I do? Let's do some green, watery green. I hurl the brush towards the paper and then I abruptly stop. So I'm just a quick, and then stop. Boom. That gets you slightly bigger drops. And you could do, you can concentrate the color, where the color is. So I could do some dark green splats near the dark green shape. Or they could be anywhere. I could do some dark green over here. Why not? Over here, sure. Clear away things that you don't want splatted. But I mean, my laptop's covered. This is covered in paint. I mean, I could move this. I might move that out of the way to get less splats on that. Yeah, just use all the same colors you were already using. You could add black splats. Black could look nice. Yeah, and don't be worried that maybe some wet splats went on some wet paint and it's bleeding and spreading. That's a cool effect. That's fine. Get some of this burgundy, no, not burgundy, mahogany color. As much or as little as you want, but I like a lot. You don't have to do it as much as me. I tend to do a lot. Let's say you want really big splats, like a big whoosh, and then like this. Couple ways to do that. So load up your brush. Maybe I'll get a bigger brush. No, I'll just do this brush. Load up your brush with a lot of painty water. Just load it up. Then go really up high. Go way up high and then squeeze. You're going to squeeze that the bristles and it'll go down and blop. Whoa. Go. Blop. There's one. Let's do blue. Way up high, squeeze the bristles, blop, blop. There's a couple. It's okay if they land in weird places. You get a little bit messy. And then what was the other way I like to do? Oh yeah. So if you want more of a kind of spreading out splatty thing, you could blow on wet patches of, so I could just use my breath and like it goes like that. That was a good one. I like this. This is kind of a cool effect. Literally just blow. Here's a wet patch. Yeah, that's kind of like a fall version. And this is the summery rainbow version. So we are going to wait a few minutes before we do the tape pull, tape reveal. While you guys are still splatting and blobbing, I can show you the upcoming events here with me. So the events that I'm going to show you now are the Zoom events that we run. So tickets are on the website. Each ticket holder, you get the link to attend the Zoom. So you're live with the artist in Zoom, so you're able to get immediate feedback. So you can show me your art in progress or at the end, and I can give you feedback right away. I can answer your questions right away on the Zoom, and it's a smaller, more intimate setting in the ticketed Zoom events. Lots of fun, and all the ticket holders also get a recording. So if you miss the Zoom event at that particular time, you always get the recording as well, and that you can keep forever. You keep that recording for all. Okay, so let me show you what's coming up for fall, well, for September. This one's in watercolor. This one's called Cozy Fox. Tickets on the website, artistpaletedurham.com. Cozy Fox is in watercolor with me. We're doing this one on this 16th, September 16th. Coming up, nice and fall-ish. Cozy Fox. And then later on in September, on the 23rd, this is an acrylic piece, a little bit bigger. Acrylic, it's pumpkins and a field mouse, a little mousy guy there, on kind of a barn board background, which I love. I love doing barn board. Lots of lovely fall colors, and not your standard pumpkins, right? You got your white pumpkin, your kind of warty pumpkin, I would call that, and then there's your standard pumpkin. So that one's on the 23rd on Zoom with me. Tickets on the website. And here is, I think this was my last one in September, the 30th, I believe. Autumn Cat. All those great fall colors. I love cats. I have 4 cats, so had to do a cat fall painting. That one's also on Zoom. Tickets on the website. Autumn Cat. That's acrylic. That's acrylic. Is this dry enough? So mine's a little wet still. At home, wait till everything's dry before doing the tape pull. But I'm going to do my tape pull now to show you. I'll just cross my fingers it doesn't like bleed and flow into my white border. So pull your tape slowly and like in the direction that like I wouldn't pull it like this way. I'm pulling it back the way it has come from. Yeah, even though that's wet, it's staying put, so that's good. And pulling the tape off gives it like that complete finished look. Let's say you're pulling your tape and it starts to rip the paper. You notice it's starting to rip here. Then I would stop where you're at and then start pulling from the other direction and meet up with it that way. That way you're minimizing the ripping if it does start to rip. If it has a big rip and you want to give this as a gift to someone, get a mat board to cover up that rip area and mat it and then frame it. That would work. Okay, a little smudgy there. Yeah, doesn't that give it a nice complete look? Crisp, makes it look crisp. Tidy, even though it's a messy painting, it gives it a tidy look. Oh, you're right, Pam, thank you. Pam says, don't forget to sign it. That's true. Whoop, I started to get a little rip. So I'm going to pull from the other direction to minimize that rip. So I got a teeny tiny rip. I could glue that down gently. I could glue that down. Signing options, so you could sign with your thin black pen. You could sign with your Sharpie, sign with paint. But definitely sign any artwork you do in the medium that you did the artwork. So you wouldn't sign a pencil drawing in pen. You wouldn't sign a watercolor piece in acrylic, if you get my meaning there. So I'm going to sign it in pen on a dry spot. I like to do the initials. You can do your whole signature. You could do the year. I love when kids will put their age with their name. I love that. So there you go. There's the kind of fall version plus the original version. A blue-green version of this would be amazing. What other color schemes would be nice? All greens, greens and yellows. You're welcome to Pam. You're welcome, Celine. It is a great one. It's a good one. So I do love offering these free events for you guys. We do accept tips if you would like to send us a couple bucks and we can continue to put on these free events for you. All my tips go towards more art supplies. Then I could put on more free stuff for you guys. I've got my email on here. If you want to email me a photo of your work today, I'd love to see that. Or share a photo of your work in the Watercolor Lovers Facebook group. Or you can private message us if you want to just share it with us and not like the whole world. So there's email. You can email me, KristenArtist@hotmail.com, if you want to send me a couple bucks on e-transfer, or I've got the paypal.me/KristenArtist link there. No pressure, of course. We love putting on free events for you guys. Another way to support me would be to buy a ticket to one of my future events, such as Cozy Fox. That's a way to support your favorite online artists. Tickets to their events. All right, if you guys have any questions, type. I'm still here. Any questions about this? Any questions about the acrylic paintings I showed you or artist palette in general? Any questions at all? Pam's going to all of them. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you, Pam. There's amazing pencil and colored pencil events coming up with our graphite artist, Karen. Vera and Liesel have some amazing acrylic and watercolor events coming up as well. We're also starting to do other things. So we have a macrame event coming up. That's with string, rope, knotting. It's going to be cool. Very cool to try a new crafting medium. I believe we're also going to start up our oil tutorials again soon with Nadia. What else do we have coming up? Interesting things coming up. Surprising things are coming up. Different crafty events. Stay tuned. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe on our YouTube. You're welcome, Deb. Thanks for joining me. All right, I'm not seeing a whole lot of questions rolling in. Thank you for joining me from Alabama, from California, from Florida, from everywhere, all over the continent, sometimes all over the world. All right, my friends, see you next time. Happy painting. Bye now.